Hi, good evening, everybody. So glad you could join me today. This is going to be so much fun. We're going to be doing the class Fruits and Glutes. So we're going to be talking about nutrition and core, so hence the name. My name is Natalie Gilchrist. I am the owner of Balanced Running and Fitness, and I am a personal trainer, a nutrition coach, and a running coach. And it is my pleasure to help people day in and day out, just like you, that are learning how to be more fit, learning how to incorporate more vegetables into their life, just all around wellness. I have been a personal trainer for about 6 years now, and it is my ultimate joy to help people move better in and out of the gym so that people can enjoy what they enjoy most outside of the gym, enjoying time with their family, enjoying their activities. So we're going to touch a lot about how we can do that tonight. So our class is going to last about an hour or less. And I have a presentation. We're going to do a core workout in the middle, and then we're going to end with the slideshow on nutrition. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to share my screen. And here we go. Let's get this shared. All right. So yes, Fruits and Glutes, Balanced Running and Fitness is my business. Started in 2023, so it's pretty new. I used to work at a gym before that. And I also am an affiliate with Juice Plus, which has changed my life. So we're going to talk about all these things today. So what we're going to cover today, we're actually going to do a little anatomy lesson. Don't be scared. It won't be too in depth. We're going to work on the core moves that, using the muscles we had just talked about. And then we're going to tie diet into all of this and how whole foods, fruits and vegetables are super, super important for our overall health. And then I'm going to offer a simple change to help improve diet that is just one simple change. All right, so let's get to defining our core. We hear that word a lot. What does that mean exactly? Some people might just think it's our six-pack here. It is so much more than that. There are many muscles of the core, and basically this whole torso thing, that is our core, and that includes our glutes. So we have a couple of muscles listed here on the slide. We're going to talk about those muscles. And we're going to talk about the glutes. We have glute max and glute medius, and then we have some muscles in our back too. So it really is an all-around thing. We cannot be strong without being stable. And our core is all about stability. So there's lots of ways that we can build stability through the core, but it is super important that we can have that stability so that when we are doing our moves inside or outside of the gym, that we're able to move safely and efficiently. So we'll get into that. All right, so muscles of the core. So we're going to start on the left-hand side here with the transverse abdominis. And this is the innermost muscle of our abdomen. And you can see on that drawing there that the muscles run horizontally. And so it kind of acts like a corset around our midsection there. And if you've ever had, like a kid run at you, or a ball is headed your way and you're afraid it's going to hit your stomach, and you brace, that's your transverse abdominis that at work. So it helps build stability and helps with that bracing motion there. The muscles on the right-hand side of the screen, we have obliques, and you may have heard of that word before, when we're doing side planks or something like that. There's actually two kinds of obliques that we have. We have internal and external obliques. So if you see on that picture, those internal obliques are going to be closer in toward our internal organs, and they are kind of running at this diagonal this way. And the external ones are doing the exact opposite motion of the internal. So they both cover, they kind of do a crisscross there, cover those ranges of motion. And what our obliques do is that they help create or resist rotation. That's some of their main functions. What does that mean? Well, if you've done like a Russian twist where you're twisting, if you're a golfer and you have a golf swing, right? Those are obliques. If somebody's kind of pushed against you, maybe you've been jostled in the grocery store or something, that can be obliques as well. So if I were to hold my hands out like this and somebody was to push on the side of them and I resisted that, that's obliques. That's resisting rotation. It's also, when we are in movement, they help stabilize so that we don't have excess rotation through any of our movement, like running or, any of our sports. So super important muscles there. They are also involved with our side planks, by the way. All right, so on the left-hand side, we have our rectus abdominis. Mostly we know them as our six pack, and that's the most coveted muscle of all, right? But these muscles help do things like crunching, like leg raises. As you can see, those muscles run vertically. So they help constrict. When they shorten, they pull things together, right? Now, if you review, we had the transverse abdominis, they run horizontally. We have the crisscrosses of the internal and external obliques, and we have the straight up and down. So our body is really beautifully designed, right? So that we have all of we got the straight up and down, we got the horizontal, and we got the crisscrosses. All of the planes of motion are covered. So that's super, super cool. So using all of those muscles is what's going to help stabilize us in our movement. Now, on the right-hand side of the screen, we have our glutes. We have glute max, which is the single biggest muscle that we have in our body. And below that, attached up there on the pelvis there, is our glute medius. Now, glute max is maybe arguably one of the most important muscles in the body. And it helps us stabilize during movement. It helps create power. It helps us get up out of chairs, upstairs, walking, running, you name it. Now, we sit on them a lot, and so sometimes we don't have the strength in the glutes that we really should have, and that can cause a lot of problems. It can cause problems like knee problems and lower back problems, balance problems, things like that. So glutes are super, super important, and we really can't have enough of them. So whenever you have a chance to train them or work on them, it'd be a good time. Glute medius, it's more of a stabilizer in itself. It helps stabilize us side to side. So if you are watching somebody walk down the street and they're doing like the little sachet, right? That muscle helps to prevent that type of motion so that we can walk nice and smooth down the street. Or if you've tried to stand on one foot and you feel like we have this tipsy-turvy feeling, we need to work on glute medius. So it helps stabilize us so that when we stand on one foot, we can be nice and stable without that hip kind of wanting to be going out to the side like that. So briefly, there are some muscles of the core. Also, just a couple of other things that we may not consider as part of our core. We have our outer core, which we kind of talked about. And then we have a few other muscles a part of the core that are also kind of interesting. On the right-hand side of the screen, we have the pelvic floor shown there at the bottom of our pelvis. If you guys have ever had pelvic floor issues, you know that they can be very problematic. So there are exercises to target the pelvic floor that are more than just the Kegel type exercise. And we're going to actually go over one of those today that's real simple. We have the diaphragm. The diaphragm sits right below well, it kind of goes up into the rib cage, but you can kind of feel it right below the rib cage. If you take a big breath in from the bottom of the rib cage right here, you can feel that expand. And then if you were to cough, that's your diaphragm. So that's an easy way to find that. And then those muscles up and down the spine there that you see, the multifidus, they're also part of our core, and they help stabilize the vertebrae. It helps keep us upright, those types of things. So those are some very basic anatomy lessons there. And so we're going to continue on here. with how to find exercises that are appropriate for you. One option would be to get a coach like me. A certified coach who has the good education, they can help guide you through exercises that are going to be appropriate for your skill level and help you build on that. When you are looking for a coach, make sure you find somebody who's certified, they have the education, they have the experience, and most coaches are going to have some sort of specialty that they work in. And so it would be good to have a coach that matched their specialty, matched your needs. If hiring a coach is out of the realm of possibility at the moment, finding reputable resources online can be really tricky and it's overwhelming. But keep in mind just a few guidelines here. When you are looking for somebody to follow, maybe on social media or YouTube, find somebody who's educated. Again, maybe they're a strength and conditioning coach, maybe they're a PT, maybe they're, whatever. If they have the education or the certification, make sure that they know what they're talking about. Exercises are often through social media, they look fancy and they look like they're going to solve all of our problems. But in reality, simple is often better. Mostly what we go through in personal training, at least my style, is that there is a lot of repetition and we work on the foundational moves first before we get into more complex moves. And really it's the focus on some of our simple movement patterns, our basic movement patterns, I should say, that are really going to get you the results rather than trying to go fancy or trying to, do things that appear to be really great, but maybe they're not. We're working with squat patterns, we're working with deadlift patterns, rowing, chest press. There's all sorts of variations on all of those, of course, but simple is often better. And we need to be able to perform their basic foundational moves before we head into, fancier, more complicated movement patterns. And also when you're on social media, be aware of influencers who are trying to sell you something. Maybe they're seemingly only concerned with weight loss and defining your abs. If they're focused on beauty rather than functionality, functionality is often not glamorous. We're in the gym, we're doing repetitive movements, we are sweaty. So those are the things, that consistency of movement is really what you're going to be seeing the results with rather than some of these quick fixes. I'm going to fix you in 60, 30 days, whatever those promises that they make. So make sure you're finding reputable resources and make sure you get your foundation down first before heading to more advanced moves. All right, so we're going to get into the core movement part of our workout here. So a word ahead of time, if any of these moves do not feel good to you, maybe your low back hurts, maybe something else doesn't feel good, shoulders, whatever it is, please make sure that you're not pushing through pain. I know the old adage, we've all heard it, the no pain, no gain. In my book, that's a bunch of crap. Your exercise should feel good. It should be fun. If we can't make it fun, at least it should feel good, right? It should feel good while we're doing it, and it should feel good later. So if something gets inflamed or it hurts later, we need to take a look at maybe modifying what you did earlier to make sure it does feel good. All right. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be down on the floor at first. Maybe we'll start standing. We're going to start standing. We can do core on the floor or standing. And so no matter if you're not comfortable on the floor, we still have some moves for you. So I'm going to stop my share here. Okay. All right. So we're going to be standing up. We're going to start with a really basic move here. I'm going to adjust my screen, I think. All right. So this move is called vacuum abs. All right. Super simple. You can do it anywhere you want. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your abs and you're going to kind of bring them toward the spine, like the vacuum cleaner is sucking them toward your spine. So all the muscles from the top all the way down to the bottom are engaged. You can feel that engagement. We're holding and make sure you breathe. Okay, we're holding, and relax. Good. Now with this move, you can hold it as long as you want. We can also get the diaphragm involved with this. And if you're unsure if your diaphragm is involved, we're going to make sure it is in a really simple way. So again, we're going to bring those abs to the spine. You should be kind of talking funny at this point, and we can add a little cough. And when you feel that engagement from the cough, just hold that. Okay, holding, breathing. We're still nice and tall. Don't get scrunchy. Okay, and relax. All right, let's do one more of those. Again, these are our vacuum abs. Okay, bring the abs toward the spine. You can add that cough. Okay, hold that when you feel that cough. We're getting that diaphragm involved now. Holding and breathing. Let's do another 5 seconds. And good. All right. So those are your vacuum abs. Again, sometimes simple is better. If we don't even have to get on the floor, if we can just do this while we're brushing our teeth or something, that's a good thing. That's very accessible. That's part of what I like to do in my studio. All right. We're going to do what I call some zombie walking. So what you can do, we can grab a small weight. You can use your water bottle. You can use whatever you have around. So if you have shoulder problems or pain, you may want to do the modified version of this. So let me make sure we can get all of us in here. Okay, so we're going to use the space in the room, and we're going to be using our obliques for this. So we have one version where we're holding the weight out. If I show you from the side, I'm holding this out at shoulder height. Again, if you have shoulder problems and this doesn't feel good, you can keep the weight closer by bending your elbows. So either version's totally legit. I'm going to do the modified version. So I got my elbows bent, my weight's out in front. I'm going to take one step forward, but I'm going to turn my torso toward my front leg. Okay, and then I'm going to step through, turn my torso toward the other leg. So I'm going back and forth. You can just walk around your space like this. And I'm really feeling those obliques engage. Now make sure when you're doing this, pay attention. It's easy to turn away from your front leg. That's kind of how we move as humans, right? So we're kind of doing the opposite of what we do all the time. So again, let's do one more pass. I'm going to bring my arms out in front of me this time. And we're walking, we're turning our torso toward the front leg as we walk. We're really working on those abs. All right. So again, super accessible. We don't need fancy equipment. We don't even need to get on the floor. So we have gotten our diaphragm. We've got our transverse abdominis with those vacuum abs. We've gotten our obliques with our zombie walking. All right. Now we are going to actually, let's do some ice skaters. If you have a mini looped band, I'm going to grab one here. These mini loop bands are super great. If you don't have them at home, these you can do so much with. They're easy to store and they're inexpensive. So we are going to start working on some glutes, in particular glute medius, but we're also going to get a little bit of glute max in this too. So I'm going to put this on around my ankles. And again, we're just going to be using this space in our wherever you are for this. So we want to make sure our feet are straight. We don't want toes pointed out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my knees soft. I'm kind of bent forward from the side. We're kind of in this position here. So I'm in my little athletic position. We're going to pretend that we're speed skaters today. So I'm going to kind of swoop toward my foot. I'm going to step to the side, coming closer and apart. So I'm going side to side. And I'm really from this leg, I'm pushing. Good. And then we're pushing from this leg. So we're reaching, but we're also pushing from the leg that we're stepping away from. Good. We should be feeling some glutes here. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the way back. I'm swooping closer and then to the side. That side to side motion is the most important part. So I'm pushing, push, push from this side. We're going backwards in the same way. So you will even feel the glutes a little bit more, I think, going backwards. Okay, those are your ice skaters. So we got some glute medius, that side of the hip. We also got some glute max, especially as we were walking backward. All right, Now we are going to get on the floor. If you're comfortable getting on the floor, come on and join me. All right, I'm going to get my screen adjusted so you can see me. Okay. Now, we're going to review plank. Most of you probably have done a plank or at least know what plank is. I'm going to review the proper way to get into a plank. Now, again, if you're low back, especially in this one, if it doesn't feel good, try the modified version. I'm going to show you. If that still doesn't feel good, this may not be the move for you yet. We just want to make sure your low back always feels good in your moves. That's really important. So we're going to be doing a forearm plank tonight. And I'm going to start with my arms on railroad tracks. I see a lot of people doing the triangle thing. We want to make sure our shoulders stay in a neutral position, and that's going to be railroad tracks here. Now, I'm going to be starting on my knees, as you see. Now, your back may have a shape kind of like mine right now, where it's arched toward the floor. What we're going to do here is I'm going to rotate my hips under so that my back is flat. And that's what we want. And that's what's going to help engage our abs. It's also going to help keep our back safe in this move. All right, so now once we have our back in this position, if you're ready, just bring your heel or your knees up off the floor and we're going to hold. And let's just do a 30-second one tonight. Now, if this is too much, the modified version is just putting your knees back on the floor and we're going to maintain this knee plank. Now, as you can see, my hips are at shoulder height. We do not want them sagging like this. So make sure your form is staying good. We're going to do another 10 seconds. Good. And you can alternate between knee plank and plank from the toes. Totally fine. And done. All right, so there's a plank. Plank is going to be getting some rectus abdominis. It's going to be getting some transverse abdominis. Glutes can help you out in plank a little bit too, so don't neglect those guys. They're going to be very helpful. A good goal for plank is 60 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds. We want quality over quantity. So if 30 seconds is your max, then you're going to start at 30 seconds or wherever you are at. And then you can build from there. So one way I like to train plank is if we are starting out on our toes and form is starting to fail and we can't fix it, oh my gosh, we're just going to lower the knees to the floor, fix form if we have to, and then you can finish off your plank with the amount of time that you had in mind. So that's a way that you can build that time up in a really great way to, making sure that the quality of movement is still there. All right, so one move that I have everybody do in one way or the other is a glute bridge. And if I only had one exercise to give to people, it really would be the one. It is so helpful for glute strength. Again, it's arguably the most important muscle that we have. And it's easily done by most people. And if you're not able to get on the floor, you can even do this in bed. So we're going to be getting on our back, starting out in this, what I call the glute bridge position. And our heels are pretty close to our backside here. My knees are bent and hands just can rest on the floor. And before I get started, I'm going to squeeze my glutes, my butt, and we're going to be pushing through the heels. We're going to bridge up. And then we're going to keep the glutes engaged as we head down toward the floor. We're going to do a set of 12 here. So hopefully everybody's ready. We're going to squeeze the glutes, bridging up and down. Good. Here's 3 and down and 4 and down, 5 and down. Good. And 6 and down. We're thinking about those glutes. And 7 and down. If you think about the muscles that you're trying to engage, they will actually engage 30 to 40% more than if we mindlessly go about stuff. Excellent. Let's do 3 more. Here's 10 and down. 2 more. Squeeze and done. Keeping them engaged. Keep it strong for the last rep. Squeezing up and down and done. All right, so that is just a really basic glute bridge pattern. There's so many variations of glute bridges, but that's a great place to start. So the other couple things I was going to show you guys. Oh, I know. One way to get pelvic floor into glute bridges is to add something in between your squeeze on. So if we had a yoga block or a pillow or, I don't know, a firm piece of Tupperware, whatever you have around your house, what you'll do is you'll just put that block or something in between your knees, and you're going to squeeze on it together with about 20% effort while you do that glute bridge. And that glute bridges do get pelvic floor a little bit. You enhance that pelvic floor engagement with that squeeze in between your knees. So that's a great way to add just a little oomph to those glute bridges. All right, the last one we're going to do today is called dead bugs. Dead bugs is going to be getting that transverse abdominis still and also those coveted six-pack abs. So we're going to be back down on our back. And what we're going to do, your number one goal in this exercise is to keep your low back flat on the floor. If it starts to arch up, we're out of position and we can increase our risk for injury. So make sure that the back stays flat. So we're going to bring our knees up, and what we're going to do is we're going to put one hand on a knee. So I have my left hand on my left knee. My back is flat. I'm going to work my right side first. So I'm going to reach out with arm and leg, reaching out. We're going to pull in, elbow toward the knee, and we're going to repeat on that same side. Now, sometimes we may need to keep our leg higher off the floor. Here's number 3. If that's you, that's totally fine. That makes it a little bit easier. So only lower the leg as far as you can keep your back flat on the floor for. So I think this is number 6 or thereabouts. Good. Let's go to 10. You can go to 10, 15, whatever rep range that you want. And we're pulling in. Let's do 2 more. Keeping the back flat. Pull in with those abs. Good. And out. And in. And relax for a sec. So should be feeling those abs on that side. Nice way to get one side at a time. Now, again, there's a million different ways to do dead bugs. That's what this one is called. But this is just, an initial way to do it. If that still is too much for you, you can keep the one foot on the floor while you do it. If that feels better on your low back, that would be a great regression from that. A progression would be, instead of just resting my hand here, I am going to push on that knee, and that knee is going to push back against me. So that would be a way to make this more difficult. So we're going to do the second side now. We're going to go to the left side. I'm going to keep the progression I had before, but again, if you need to bring that other foot to the floor while you do your dead bug, go ahead and do that. Or if you want to add the push, it'd be a great chance to try it. All right, we're going to do 10 on the left side now. So we're reaching out, pulling in with the abs. Good. Out and in. Good. Keep that back flat, 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 and in. If you need to keep that foot off the floor a little higher, go ahead and do that. Again, quality over quantity. Good. Let's do about 4 more. Out and in. Excellent. Last 2. Again, we're thinking about those abs. Pull with those abs. 1 more time. And in and done. All right. Good work, you guys. A lot of these are super adjustable. And again, make sure all your exercises feel really, really good. If you wanted to do a second set of those exercises, you're certainly welcome. Or if you just want to use your core moves as a warm-up to your the rest of your workout, that's a great strategy as well. If you're interested in more personalized programs, of course, you can go ahead and contact me or find a coach near you if you want. But I do in-person and virtual training, And, virtual training works really, really well. I have people that are snowbirds. So I train people. I have one in New Zealand. I have one in California. I have a client in Tennessee right now. So that's also an option if you're not in the Troy, Idaho area. All right. So we're going to get into the nutrition part of our class. So let me get readjusted here. And here we are. I'm going to share my screen again, going back to our presentation. All right, we got our movement done. Hopefully everybody is awake again. And we're going to move on to food. Everybody's favorite topic. We love food. So how does food fit into our into our fitness? Food is like one wheel of a bike, movement's the other wheel of the bike. And so if we are missing a wheel on our bike, it's going to be challenging to go very far. So we want both aspects to be as healthy and functional as we can get them. So how do we do that? One thing that we really want to focus on with nutrition is whole food nutrition. And tonight we're going to be focusing on fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are essential. I know that carbs have been labeled the enemy. I mean, all these fitness or the food fads that come around can get confusing. But we need our fruits and vegetables. We have fiber in them. There's water that helps us to stay fuller, longer. And they have all the phytonutrients in them that we need. Really, most of our nutrition is going to be found in our fruits and veggies. And as you see on this picture here, we have all sorts of different kinds of fruits and veggies, all different shapes and colors. And we really do want to have colors from all over the rainbow in our diet. The colors can represent different phytonutrients that are found in that fruit or vegetable. And so by having a wide variety, we're getting all sorts of different kinds of phytonutrients in our body, and that helps our body to function better. Experts do agree that most diseases are preventable with good nutrition. So I don't know that that's news for anybody, but given the environment that we have right now for food, it is difficult at times to get good nutrition in. All right, so we're going to talk about oxidative stress really quick. So oxidative stress and also free radicals, they are part of what helps cause aging and disease, things that most of us want to avoid, right? I love this picture here on the page. We got an apple that's been cut in half, and on that right-hand side, somebody has taken that cut lemon and squeezed it across the front of that cut. The other side has been left just open to the air. On that left side where it's starting to shrivel and turn brown, that's a good analogy and a visual of what oxidative stress does to our body. And oxidative stress happens on the daily by breathing, by moving and exercise, and just by doing our thing during the day, we create oxidative stress. Also stressful situations, work stress, all that compounds it as well. But the good news is that fruits and vegetables have antioxidants in them that protect our cells from that oxidative stress. So that's why that part where the lemon's been squeezed across the front of that apple, that it hasn't turned brown and it has not shriveled. Antioxidants are super, super powerful. And what are antioxidants? Well, they are chemicals that interact with and neutralize free radicals and oxidative stress. Free radicals, they are highly reactive chemicals. They have the potential to harm cells and cause disease. So when the antioxidants interact with the free radicals, they neutralize each other, and now that chemical, that free radical, is no longer harmful to us. Free radicals, they are naturally formed in the body. They are involved with bodily processes, but we also, through our daily lives, our stress, our diet, nutrition, we can absorb high amounts of these from our environment or radiation or toxins. And also with athletes during exercise, we create a lot of free radicals. So we need those fruits and veggies with the antioxidants in them to help combat that. The body does make some of the antioxidants it needs, but the rest of it does need to come from our diet. Again, fruits and vegetables are going to be our source of those. So what we hear a lot about is supplements, right? Supplements is a huge industry right now. What I want to emphasize tonight is multivitamins versus whole food. Whole food is really where it's at. Multivitamins, if you are taking those, kudos to you. I think it's an acknowledgement that you realize that you may not be getting everything that you need from your food, and you're trying to bridge those gaps with a multivitamin or other supplements. 70% of Americans actually are trying to fill the gaps with a multivitamin. So on this page, we have a multivitamin and its corresponding supplements label. And on the right-hand side, we have an apple and maybe what a nutritional label might look like for that apple, listing all of its phytonutrients. An apple has approximately 10,000 phytonutrients working in synergy together in our body. Multivitamins are kind of like the minimum wage of nutrition. Minimum wage is going to get you somewhere, but probably not where you really want to go. If we're working toward optimal health, we really need to be focusing on whole food. So with that multivitamin in that supplements label, you see that there's, I don't know, 15, 20 different man-made isolated nutrients listed on that supplement label. Those are man-made, they are isolated, and oftentimes they can cause more harm than good. Because they are man-made, our body doesn't recognize them immediately oftentimes, and so the body may need to take that nutrient through, I don't know, up to 13 different processes within the body to even have that be absorbable to some extent into the body. Now, this is contrary to the apple or other whole foods, where all of those phytonutrients, they're created by nature. We are of nature as well, so we know how to process those nutrients. And those nutrients are working together to be even more effective in our body. So instead of having the isolated nutrients in high quantities, we have phytonutrients in smaller quantities, but because of the synergy and the working together, those nutrients get into our body quicker and more effectively, and they're more bioavailable, meaning those nutrients are getting into the bloodstream and they're getting to the places they need to be within the body to do the things that we need to do. So for example, the apple may have just a small amount of vitamin C in it, smaller than what the multivitamin may have. But because of the synergy of the rest of the nutrients in the apple, we get more vitamin C into our body quicker than that multivitamin. So that's the power of nature, which is so cool. All right, that's why the news isn't that the fruits and vegetables are good for us. It is they are so good for us, they could save our life. That's a Time magazine article from 2003. But sadly, and probably not surprisingly, only about 1 in 10 adults consume enough fruits and vegetables daily. That's according to the CDC. Well, how many do we need exactly? And what is a serving? And all the questions, right? So a serving is going to be about the size of your fist. And everybody's fist is a little bit different. So my serving is going to be different than your serving. And we need about 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And because of that oxidative stress that we talked about earlier, athletes need to eat even more. But why on earth do we need to eat so many? Well, there's a few reasons. One is that our produce doesn't have the nutrients in it right off the shelf. Like when we go pick up that broccoli up off the shelf in the grocery store, it may have already lost 50 to 80% of its nutrients before we even get to it. And that is because just kind of the way our food industry works. Oftentimes our food travels really far to get to us. So in order for that food to get to us before it spoils, they have to pick it before it's ripe. And it's during the ripening process of our plants that the plant puts the rest of the nutrients into the produce. So when we pick it before that happens, right off the bat, we are missing a lot of those nutrients that would have been there if we had been able to wait. Transportation is also an issue. So when we're transporting food thousands of miles, we have two things against us. We have time and we have temperature. So of course, over the course of time, nutrients are going to start to degrade. And then if that truck is not temperature controlled, if it gets too warm in there, that is also going to degrade the nutrients in that food. The other thing is that we don't get enough variety from the rainbow, generally speaking. We typically have a few things that we like and we get frequently, and then we don't look at the rest. So I'd encourage you next time to go to the grocery store, look around and maybe pick up something that maybe you don't normally eat and see how that goes for you. All right, so I do have a simple solution for this because, I mean, how many times are we eating 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day for optimal health? With Juice Plus, this is a powdered fruit, veggie, and berry, and they're in capsules and they or are in chewables. And it adds the nutrition from over 30 fruits and vegetables and berries to our diet. And the cool thing about this is it's easy and we can get the consistency in every single day. And, you know, we know that we cannot make up today for what we missed yesterday, right? So if we didn't eat our vegetables yesterday, that day is gone. So this adds consistency to our diet. So we have whole foods that are harvested at the peak of ripeness, so that the nutrition is intact. And the cool thing about Juice Plus is that we partner with family farms, not corporate farms. And we have farms across the United States, depending on what we're needing. We have carrots in Minnesota, and we have citrus in California, and we have apples in Washington. And we create the processing plants close by our farmers so that we can get the produce to them right away, so that we can harvest when they are ripe, not before, and get it to the plant in time to make that happen. The produce is pulverized, not juiced, because a lot of times things like the peels have a ton of nutrition in them. And so by pulverizing, we can include the peels and any other things that have nutrition in them. We dry them into powders at low temperatures. So again, we're preserving as much nutrition as possible. And then they're put into capsules or into chewables, which are really yummy, actually. We have a full spectrum omega blend too that I really, really love. And this, we get our algae or our omegas from algae and berries and seeds instead of fish. And fish get their omegas from algae. So we just kind of skip the middle fish and go straight to the source. And it is a full spectrum omega blend as well. So we have omegas 3, 5, 7, and 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9 in there. So again, there's synergy working with our omegas as well. So Juice Plus is unique. It is plant powders. It has a nutrition label, meaning it is considered food, not a multivitamin, not a supplement. So there's a big differentiation between something with a supplement label and something with a nutrition label. Juice Plus has a nutrition label. It's made with non-GMO ingredients. It's vegan, it's kosher, it's dairy and gluten-free. And you can be sure that you're getting in that product what it says that it has in it, because it's certified by NSF. And so they regularly test our product so that it makes sure there's no molds or mildews, there's no heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides, any of that stuff that we really don't want in our food. Now, when you're taking supplements or any other nutritional product, it is smart to make sure that it has been verified by a third party, because our government does not oversee supplements at all. So we want to make sure that what we're putting in our bodies is safe and we know exactly what's in that product. And the cool thing is we are the most researched nutritional product in the world. We have over 40 plus peer-reviewed, gold standard, published clinical studies done on our product, and it's over the span of 20 years. So that's what really sold me on this product, is that we were really focused on quality, and that's super, super important to me, and so that I can be confident in teaching it to other people as well. So talking about our research, the cool thing is we have this little timeline here on what researchers have found in people's bodies after taking Juice Plus. So we have all this research. What does that research say? Well, in the first 2 to 10 hours, they have found a significant rise in a variety of polyphenols, which are important nutrient family for slowing systematic inflammation and aging overall. That's awesome. And it's showing that it's bioavailable so that we can see that it's entering into our bodies and our bloodstream, pretty quickly. In 2 weeks, there's significant improvement in recovery from exercise-induced oxidation. So that's great. So it's going to be helping all of us who are moving, which should be all of us, right? In 90 or 80 days, we have significant decrease in DNA damage from the lymphocytes, right? So those are immune cells made in the bone marrow. We have in 8 to 12 weeks improved gum health, skin health, heart and lung health. In 2 to 4 months, we have butyrate levels increased, which is better gut health and better glucose clearance. So helps with diabetes and insulin resistance. In 16 weeks, we have a significant improvement in better working memory, selective attention, processing speed, executive function, and significant increase in the omega-3 index. In 6 months, we can see a reduction of body fat and insulin resistance and increase in lean mass. So there's a lot of, diabetes out there, and this can help manage our insulin resistance. In 8 months, you can see improved immunity, fewer common colds, symptoms, and sick days. And then, of course, over the course of time, you're going to be saving money in not paying doctors and, going to get health care because you're healthy, which is great. And this research is done on the fruit, veggie, berry, and the omegas. So that's the 4 bottles you see down at the bottom of the page there. Everybody's Juice Plus experience is different. This is not about treating or curing specific diseases. This is just healthful plant-based nutrition, and it's concentrated so that we get this huge nutritional influx in our bodies every single day. My experience with the product, I've been on it since November of 22. And the first thing I noticed was that even in the middle of the winter, I started craving vegetables, which was very strange for me because I was not a vegetable eater, even though I knew they were good for me. So that was actually a great thing because it was an easy change to make because I actually was craving more vegetables. And so that was interesting. That was the first thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed was that my energy levels increased and stayed steadier, which, was really great to be able to have that feeling. And then I am typically a injury-prone athlete. I've dealt with many injuries over the years. And knock on wood, I haven't been injured this past year. So I do think that my increase in nutrition has helped me recover better from my workouts. I'm not as sore, and I do recover more quickly. I have noticed that. I have had clients who have had skin improvements. I've had people with cystic acne that their face is cleared up, which is super great. I had a gal who worked at the front desk in a doctor's office, and she was getting sick all the time, and she really doesn't get sick nearly as often. And so she's really noticed a big improvement in her immune system as well. So everybody is different, but we do know that even if we're not noticing big changes, that this is doing really good stuff for our cells, our health, because the research does show it. So this is really about bridging the gap between what we do eat and what we should be eating, right? Because there often is a difference. And so we know that when we got our Juice Plus on board, that we're doing healthful things for our bodies. And we also know from, research on habit building is that sometimes just really small changes can make a really big difference. They start snowballing. So just like I experienced, craving more vegetables, and that, you start changing other things down the road because you're making good decisions for your health. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed the presentation tonight. I am going to stop the recording for any questions that I might have from the group. And I really hope that you enjoyed tonight. If you have questions and you're watching this on YouTube, please click my links down below and send me a text or an email through those links. I'm on the socials as well. So I hope this is very helpful and have a great night. Thanks, you guys.